Ryomen Sukuna was not born a curse. He became one. And that single difference changes everything about who he is. Sukuna is, above all else, a person imprisoned by an ideal so absolute that it slowly erased the humanity he tried to deny his entire life. In the end, Sukuna did not die as a human by accident. He chose to die as a curse, not because he truly became one, but because he spent his entire existence wishing to be seen as one. From the very beginning, Sukuna was marked. Literally. His markings are not just demonic aesthetics. They resemble the tattoos once used to brand criminals, outcasts, people society deemed irredeemable. Sukuna does not hide them. He wears them proudly, as if declaring to the world that if he was born condemned, then he would embrace that condemnation fully. Sukuna is a rebel not by style, but by consequence. He is the result of human cruelty projected onto someone who was never allowed to simply exist as a person. There is strong reason to believe Sukuna was cursed long before Jujutsu ever defined him. Not by techniques, but by people. Fear, hatred, rejection, violence. Humanity spat its malice onto him, and Sukuna answered by reflecting it back without restraint. That is why he rejects emotions, dismisses compassion, and sees bonds as weakness. To Sukuna, feelings are not virtues. They are chains, and he refused to live bound by anything other than his own strength. And yet, here lies the central paradox of his character. Sukuna, who desperately wants to be a curse, is perhaps the most human being in the entire story. He feels pleasure, irritation, curiosity, admiration, and even something resembling affection, though twisted. He recognizes strength in others. He praises his enemies. He calls Gojo by name. He teaches Kashimo. He acknowledges Higuruma. He chooses Uraume. No true curse would do this. Only a deeply wounded human would. Sukuna does not act like a mindless spirit driven by instinct. He acts like someone who consciously chose his way of living. He eats when he is hungry. He fights when he desires. He kills when something displeases him. This is not the absence of morality. It is the creation of a personal moral system where strength is the only measure of worth. Those who cannot meet it simply do not exist to him. This is why Sukuna hates Yuji Itadori so deeply. Not because Yuji is weak, not because Yuji is kind. Sukuna hates Yuji because Yuji represents what Sukuna could have been. Yuji suffers, loses everything, carries unbearable guilt, and still chooses to protect others. Yuji proves that another path exists, and Sukuna cannot tolerate that truth, because accepting that path would mean admitting that his own was not the only option. And Sukuna has never allowed himself that weakness. His obsession with Megumi comes from the same place. Megumi represents the possibility of dominating something godlike. Mahoraga is not merely a shikigami. It is a concept, infinite adaptation, absolute response, the denial of limits. Sukuna sees in Megumi not just a vessel, but a chance to prove that even divinity can be conquered by human will. Not through faith, not through enlightenment, but through power. And yet, in the end, Sukuna accepts defeat. He does not scream. He does not beg. He does not curse the world. He accepts it calmly. Because within the logic he built for himself, losing to someone stronger is the only acceptable way to die. Sukuna lived as a curse because the world treated him as one. But he died as a human, aware, lucid, faithful to the ideal he chose to follow until the very end. Perhaps Sukuna was never a monster by nature. Perhaps he was simply someone who learned too early that kindness did not guarantee survival. And so he chose to become what the world already saw in him: a king, a calamity, a disaster, a legend. Sukuna never wanted love. He wanted recognition. And when he could not obtain it as a human, he decided to claim it as a curse. Not because he lost his humanity, but because being human hurt too much. And maybe that is why Ryomen Sukuna remains so compelling. Because he is not pure evil. He is the unanswered question at the heart of Jujutsu Kaisen. How far can someone go when the world decides they never deserved to exist in the first place? And what if becoming a curse was simply another way to survive?